Hello everyone. Today I found out that Credo is having a sale for 20% off of almost everything that they sell that will go on until July 4th, 2023. And Credo is a place where I bought many products and tried many different things. And so I thought that what I would do for this video is to discuss my favorite products that are sold at Credo. So these are products that I have used many times and that I very likely would purchase again for my personal use if I were to lose all of the makeup in my collection. So first, a little bit of information about me. I'm 58 years old and I have dry and sensitive skin. And over the past 2 years or so, I have tried nearly 1,000 makeup and skincare products. I'm very picky about what I put on my skin, so if something is irritating, then I don't use it anymore. And I like to spend only about 5 minutes a day putting on makeup. So I'm pretty choosy about what I am willing to use and what I'm willing to spend money on. So I thought I would start out by talking about what I think is one of the most interesting and one of the best deals at Credo right now. And this is a palette from Mob Beauty. So Mob Beauty is currently one of my favorite brands and the brands that I'm most excited about. And I recently did a whole video on Mob Beauty, but this is a new palette that is for sale just at Credo. And this is called the Refillable Face and Eye Essentials Palette. And it would be $106 for these different items if you were to buy them all separately. But with the sale and with the particular palette that they are selling, it would be $54. So I think that that's a much better price. And I think that this is such a versatile palette and one that can be used by pretty much anyone that I think it's a very good introduction to the Mob Beauty brand. So in this palette, there are 4 eyeshadows, powder eyeshadows, and then there is a cream blush and a cream highlighter. So I started out by putting some of these on my face today, so maybe you can see what they look like on my eyes. And I will put on a little bit more of the blush and a bit more of the highlighter just so that you can see what this looks like. So I think that this is the group of colors that I think form a really nice base for any other makeup that I might be putting on. And I think it's they're neutral enough colors that most people would be able to wear them. This particular blush, it tends to go on a little bit stiff, and then eventually I can blend it into my face, and then it seems to last for a lot longer than a lot of other blushes that are on the market. So I kind of like this sheen from this hyaluronic acid highlighting balm. I think that that's very pretty. I think it gives kind of a youthful type feeling to my skin without it looking overdone. So I'll be discussing Mob Beauty a little bit more later on in this video, and I also have a whole video on Mob Beauty that I completed a couple weeks ago so that you can take a look at that if you're interested in this brand. So next I'll talk about a brand that has been around since 2009. This is RMS, and this was founded by a makeup artist who is pretty well known. Her name is Rosemary Swift. And she created a lot of different cleaner products after she had some health issues, and she was told by her doctors that her job in the makeup industry could be contributing to this because some of her chemical levels were on the high side. So she created a bunch of different products. Early on, most of the products were kind of cream kind of products, blushes and highlighters, and they were based on coconut oil and beeswax and jojoba oil, so really natural ingredients. More recently, a couple of years ago, they were sold to a private investment company, but Rosemary Swift is still very actively involved in the company, it looks like. And they have released a few new products which are using more like safe synthetic type ingredients. So I have found some of the new products to be good as well, and so I'll show you a couple of the ones that I have really liked. I think that their most successful launch recently has been with a line of powder blushes. So these are called the Redimension Hydra Powder Blush, and they're available in 6 shades. This is the shade Maiden's Blush. So I think I'll just go ahead and put a little bit of whatever I discuss on my face and until my face starts to look kind of crazy, and then maybe I'll take some things off and start over. But this is a blush that comes in some colors that I thought were a little bit unusual to my eye when I first took a look at the the shades last year, but in this one, which is kind of a brownish peachy color, I think it actually turns out to look very nice on my skin. It has just a tiny little bit of shimmer in it. It's a very fine product, and I think that it goes on very nicely, and it's I think all of the colors look very pretty to me, so I might pick up some more one or more of these colors during this sale, I think, because as powder blush goes, this is really probably my favorite at this point. As I said, she has been really well known over time for her cream highlighters and cream blushes, and she also has a Buriti Bronzer, which is similar, but it has just a little bit of reddishness to it, and so I'll put a little bit of this on. So I was surprised when I first started using this one. It looks very, very dark in the pan, but when I put it on, even as an eyeshadow, I think it looks very, very nice. She also has a product which is a little bit like the Flawless Filter product from Charlotte Tilbury. I think she may have come out with this one before the Charlotte Tilbury one, but it comes in a pot like this, and it is designed to be used either under makeup or as in small amounts and strategically on the skin. But it's one of those products that when I just put it on my face, it really seems to just make me look a little bit better, regardless of what other makeup I'm wearing. I also really like the RMS brushes, so I have a whole collection of them. They're very well made brushes, especially for the price, and I also think that there's some interesting brushes in this collection. So this is just the powder brush that I just used, but there's this blush brush, which is more for cream products, and it has kind of a stippling feeling, you know, with some of the hairs being much longer than others, and I think that this has worked very nice in terms of blending products onto my skin in a way that makes them look kind of on the natural side. And there I have a couple of eyeshadow brushes, and this one is a brush that I use to blend concealer into my skin. And then she has this little blush that's I use when I'm using a blush that's way too bright for me, or a highlighter that's way too bright. It's called a fan brush. And so if I just want to put a tiny little bit of a product on my face, then this is the brush that I reach for. And I think that as brushes go, these are very well priced, and I have gotten a lot of use out of them. As lipsticks go, RMS also has some very nice lip balms, which are sort of like almost lipsticks. So they are in various colors, and they're fairly sheer, but they look very refined, and the ingredients are very, very good, and I've had very good luck with them. So I think what I will do towards the end of the video is just do a swatch portion, because I have all of the shades, I think. And so I will just try all of the ones that I have on my lips so that you can see what they look like. But I am very, very enthusiastic about these. They're among my favorite lipsticks for just casual use. Now, the next company that I want to talk about is Roen. So this is a company that doesn't seem to get a lot of attention, but which makes really, really gorgeous eyeshadow palettes. So this is a palette that's called 75 Degrees Warm, and I swatched these colors on my arm here. So let's see if I can so that you can see the shimmers here. So these are really kind of interesting eyeshadows. They're sort of a cream and sort of a powder, and they kind of have all kinds of lumpy stuff in them, and they have kind of a shimmery thing, so they have a really interesting look on the eyes. So even if you're using just one of them, or if you're using several of them together, then they really can create a very interesting effect on the eyes. So I'll just try one of these colors, and I'll add that to my eyes, and we'll see what they look like, just with a little bit of this on there. And it's kind of this soot thing where you have little pieces that might fall on the floor. But in terms of it being kind of a dramatic, interesting looking eye, I think that there's sort of nothing that's more interesting than these palettes. Now, the thing to know about these palettes is that they were originally made by the original owner of this company, and there are 3 of the ones that, I think just 3, that she created. So there's 1111, 75 degrees warm, and 52 degrees cool. And those are the ones that seem to have the best reputation. There's a few more palettes that have been released more recently, but those seem to have a different creator, and they don't seem to be quite as unusual as these first ones. So I'm a little bit interested in getting more of these eyeshadow palettes. And then they also make a liquid lip balm type product that is one of my favorite lip glosses. So I'll put a little bit of this on. This is the shade Jude, I think. So it's So it does taste pepperminty, so that's important to know. Some people really don't like peppermint. But I feel like this is feels really good on my lips. This color in particular, I think, is kind of attractive. They're not real glossy, which I'm not real crazy about a really glossy lip balm. But this is just kind of natural looking. And as liquid lip products go, I think this is one of my favorites. So now let's talk about Kosas. So Kosas is a brand that you can buy through Sephora and through their website, but you can also get them from Credo. And a couple of the products that I have used the most from Kosas are their Airbrow Tinted Brow Gel, along with their eyebrow pencil. And I like this eyebrow pencil because it has a tip that allows me to draw in really small hairs, but without being likely to break. So it's just a little bit wider than a lot of these tiny little micro pencils. But it nonetheless has performed really well for me. I've had this brow pencil for a really long time, and I've used it very frequently. And it seems to be holding up fine, and it has never broken, and it continues to work just as well as it did when I first got it. And I also believe that I've had this brow gel for a very long time, and it has continued to work as well. It seems like there's a lot of the product in the tube. A lot of these brow gels come all dried up or they irritate my eyes, but in this case it's worked really great for me. I use this shade Taupe, but there's a whole bunch of different shades, so most people will be able to find a good shade in this line. I think that I might like the Jane Iredale brow gels and brow pencil a tiny bit more, but this one is a really close second, and I have continued to use it. I also do like the Jones Road eyebrow pencil if I just want to throw something on really fast, but I'm kind of liking the way that my brows are looking today. Another product that I think is best in category for me is the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. This comes in a bunch of different shades. I have the shade Feathery here. This is a powder that doesn't contain any talc, it doesn't contain any cornstarch, and it has performed really, really well for me. I've used quite a lot of it. It's still not close to being gone, but it did used to have a big mountain on top of here, and it's pretty much flat, so you can see how much I've used this. I really like it because it performs well regardless of what kind of makeup I'm using, and it seems to just always just disappear and to look very natural without my having to use very much of it, and to really not be any trouble at all. It doesn't have cornstarch, however, so when it gets to be summertime and I'm going to be sweating as I am today, it doesn't seem to work quite as well as a product that has cornstarch in it. But for most of the time, this is the product that I really like the most. And then Kosas has just released a whole bunch of new colors of their established lipstick. And then they also released a whole new line of casual lipsticks, which they are calling Wet Sticks. And so I have 3 of these Wet Sticks, which I haven't used on camera yet. So I think that toward the end of this video, along with the RMS ones, I will go ahead and swatch these 3 colors of the Wet Stick as well. I really like these Wet Sticks a lot. I think that they go on very easily. They feel to me pretty much like the Jones Road lip tints, except that the colors are ones that I find to be much more wearable than really anything that Jones Road has put out in those lip tints. So I'm really happy with them. They do have a vanillin ingredient in them, so they taste a little bit like artificial vanilla. I'm not personally that crazy about it. A lot of people do like it. I like real vanilla. But other than that, I think that these look really pretty, and I think I'll get probably more wear out of these than I am out of the regular lipsticks. Another product that I've used a lot from Kosas is their Revealer Concealer. So a lot of people will use this on their entire face as touch-ups. I don't usually use it on my face. I tend to like a cream concealer better than a liquid concealer. But I have used either this or the Say liquid concealer or the Beauty Counter liquid concealer as a base for eyeshadow. So I feel that I have a lot of darkness on top of my eyes, and that if I put on a good concealer, that will allow the eyeshadow to last longer and to look better. One thing that people have been saying about the Revealer Concealer is that if you keep it for too long, there's the potential for it to either turn into an oxidized, yucky color, or else possibly even grow mold in it, although there's some controversy about whether that's actually what's happening. But in any case, the limitation on how long you're supposed to use those is only 6 months. So therefore, probably if you do discard them within 6 months, I haven't heard of any people having problems before that time. Just be aware that when you open a tube of that it may not be lasting that long. So right now I'm using a different product, but I would buy that one again, and I probably will. Kosas also makes a deodorant that I have used regularly and that I really like. This is a deodorant that doesn't have any scent and that doesn't have any aluminum powder or any problematic ingredients in it. It's based on hydroxy acids. So the idea is that it's not keeping you from sweating, but it's keeping the bacteria that are associated with the sweating from going out of control, and that's why there's less odor. Now, another clean beauty company that I don't think I've ever talked about on this channel is Ilia. And Ilia is a company that's been around for over a decade, I think, and it has really made very few changes in their formulas over the past 5 years or so, it's looking like to me. And so I feel like in a lot of cases some of their formulas are lagging behind a little bit. There's been great strides in the beauty industry in terms of creating products that are a little bit less problematic in terms of ingredients than there used to be, but that are performing extremely well. And so I think Ilia's products are all performing what I would consider to be adequately, but in most cases I can find products that are a little bit better. There are a couple products that I would think about buying again, though. The first one is this little eyeshadow palette. I think that these powder eyeshadows are very nice quality. There's one this is the warm one, and then there's one that also has some cool colors in it that are more like purples. And I think that this has worked out really well for me, and is for the number of shadows that you have here and for how well they perform, I think that this is a palette that's very versatile and that I have used quite a bit, and that I could see myself wanting to continue to use. Ilia also makes a line of lip and cheek sticks that are somewhat like the Westman Atelier ones. And I think that these are fairly good products. This one is the shade Ladybird. So I'll put a little bit of this on. I am really a little bit interested in the palette that they have that has a bunch of different shades. And I think that one could be really convenient and kind of fun to play around with. So I might actually buy that one during the sale. It's fairly well priced considering how much versatility it has. And I think this formula is a little bit on the stiff side too, so it takes a little bit longer than some kinds of blush to actually sink into the skin. Now, I'm not a big fan in general of Weis, but I do kind of like their blush, and I have two shades of this. I think this one is called Desired Glow, and it is almost a neutral with a little bit of taupe to it, and then this one is called Blossoming. So I'll put a little bit of this on my skin just to show you what it looks like. But I think that this blush is one product that pretty much everyone seems to like, and I think that it works pretty well for me compared to other kinds of blush. So these come in refills, and then you can buy a little case that's sort of like paper with like a coating on it for $8. Now, Tower 28 is a brand that most people seem to like quite a bit more than me, but there are a couple products from them that I do like. The first one is just a plain spray, hypochlorous acid spray called the SOS Daily Rescue Facial Spray. So when my face gets really messed up from trying different kinds of products on it, and I feel like it's red and angry and that there's a kind of a rogue infection that's going on, if I just spray my face with this stuff, that helps an awfully lot. So apparently what it has the ability to do is to be more selective in terms of killing off bad bacteria or bad fungi and allowing the good bacteria that's on your skin to actually not be killed off too much. So I can often reverse some of the damage that trying on various products does by using that particular spray. Now this is the same thing as like Briotech, so you could order this same basic thing from Briotech via mail order or probably from other companies. But I think it's fairly simple to order it from Credo rather than placing a separate order. It might be a little bit more expensive, but I have not found I've needed to use very much of this at all. It's just, it's more that I use what I use in an emergency, and I do think it's made a big difference in allowing my skin to be in reasonable shape while I go through this trial of different products and put a lot of stress on my skin. The other product that's new from Tower 28 that I've really kind of liked are these juice balms. So this is a product that I sort of wear when I'm going on a hike. I might take it with me, but it is just a stick lipstick, and it doesn't have any flavor, and it just has a small amount of color, and it seems to hold up pretty well in the heat, and it's not sticky or goopy. But it feels really good on my lips, and it's very moisturizing, and it comes in a couple of different colors. So I probably will pick up at least one more color during this sale because I've been really liking this, and so far I've had it for 4 or 5 months, I think, and it seems to be holding up really well. I do like their MakeWaves mascara. It didn't irritate my eyes at all. It performed really well, but after I had it for maybe 5 months, I don't think I had gotten to the 6-month mark yet, it gave me an eye infection. And so therefore, I think that if I'm going to use really mascara in general, I think I really need to be just using it for a month or two and then throwing it out. So that is what I'm doing now. And I think that if I had done that with the Tower 28 one, there wouldn't have been anything to worry about. But I still feel a little bit anxious about it because it did give me that eye infection. So now let's go back to Mob Beauty. And what I have decided about Mob Beauty is that I really like everything that they make. I am really so impressed with all of their formulas. I don't have any connection to this company at all, but I am just so impressed with how well all of their products have performed for me that I would not hesitate to suggest trying any of them that you find to be appealing. I've done a whole video on that, so you can go back and look at the video. Since the video, I have been using their mascara pretty frequently, and it does tend to have a lot of mascara that comes out on the brush when I first use it, so I have to carefully scrape it all off. I haven't found that it's been irritating at all. I feel like it's been holding up really well. So if I can just get it onto my eyelashes without it having too much of it on there, it's been a really great mascara, and I'm not even much of a mascara fan. Another product that I really, really like from them is their Cake eyeliner. So you put that on using a little brush, And I just put that on my eyelids today, and I found it to be remarkably easy to put on. They make a brush that goes with their cake eyeliners, and I think that it's worth buying that brush. The color that I have on is brown, but there are several other colors. And I am not done all that well with eyeliner. I find that many stick eyeliners irritate my eyes, and that many other eyeliners are very hard to use, and this one has worked really, really well for me. So I have been defaulting to that one fairly frequently. I also really like their variety of eyeshadows. So here's a little palette I put together with eyeshadows and highlighters in it, and I think that all of these colors are so gorgeous that really, it seems to be hard to go wrong. I also am very enthusiastic about their new foundations. This goes into the palettes, so this is one of the foundations. So I use a pink shade under my eyes as kind of a corrector, and then I use this shade, which is a more neutral shade, for the rest of my face. And it still is not all that expensive, even though I bought two different shades, and I think that it looks really great. It looks very natural. It blends in very easily. I don't think that it makes my wrinkles look worse. So I've been very, very happy with this product. And I really like their powder highlighters and their powder eyeshadows. And I like their cream shadows very, very much. The thing to know about these cream shadows, though, is that they have a bunch of new colors that I think are really, really attractive, that are kind of on the mucky side. So they have a lot of gray or a lot of like tan color, like mixed in with the brighter colors. And I think that those have worked really, really well for me. They're part of what they're calling the Spring Goth collection, which I think is a really off-putting name, considering how well the shadows work, regardless of what your makeup aesthetic is. So I would recommend taking a look at those before diving into the cream clay eyeshadows. But unfortunately, those are not available on Credo. They're only available on the Mob Beauty website and the Beautylish website, at least so far. The ones on Credo tend to be much brighter and sort of like spring Easter egg type colors. So I think that the cream clay eyeshadows are really a kind of a breakthrough in terms of performing well for me, but I would want to take a look at all of the colors before making a decision on that. And I have been liking their lipsticks more and more over time, and they've been working pretty well for me. So all in all, I think that this is, you really can't go wrong with this line, and I think that more people really may want to be trying this line soon. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a full video on Westman Atelier, and that is another brand that I have used extensively, but since I made that video, I have purchased a few more shades of products, so I thought that I would just use this chance to fill you in on what I have learned about this brand since then. So I now have all 4 of the shades of the SuperLoaded Tinted Highlighter, so I thought I would show you these. So unfortunately on their website, I never seem to be able to really see the colors very well because they're not using natural light. So I'm hoping that since I'm using natural light here from a number of different sides, that you'll be able to see the colors better. So what we have here at the top, here then we have Peau de Pêche. In the middle, the bright gold is Peau de Soleil. At the bottom we have Peau de Rosé, which is a pink color. And then on my wrist I have Peau de Santé. So Peau de Santé is available only on the Westman Atelier website and on the Goop website. This was Gwyneth Paltrow's idea of a good color. So you won't be able to find that at Credo, but the 3 colors that I have on the main part of my hand, I think that these are quite different from one another. My experience with this is that I can use the pink one and the peach one. The one with the gold, I really have only been using that as an eyeshadow. I guess some people would use this as a color on their face, but I feel like that's been way too bright for me. So I haven't shown the Peau de Rosé on camera before, so I'll put a little bit of that on my face just so you can take a look at that. Now the other product that I got recently was the Baby Cheeks blush stick in the shade Minette. So when I looked at this in the website, I always felt like, oh, that color is pretty close to the Chouchette, and it's really not that much different, and why do I need both of them? But when I got it, I realized that that's because they just are not using proper lighting, and so you really can't tell what the colors look like. But I think that here with this natural lighting you'll be able to tell. On the top we have Chouchette, which has a little bit of brownishness in it, and it's a little bit it blends out pretty easily. And then underneath it is the new Minette shade, and that is much brighter. It has a lot more sparkle in it, and it's kind of almost a bright, almost a fluorescent type peach. The thing about the Westman Atelier is that it does blend out very easily. So if I blend this like this way, you can see that it turns into a color that's much more muted very, very easily. But still, it's a quite different shade. So that I would have liked to have known that before purchasing it. And the thing about these Baby Cheek blush sticks is that they do disappear very quickly into my skin. So somehow, maybe more so than almost any other blush that I have tried, my skin tends to eat them up. So especially if I'm not wearing any foundation or primer, this tends to disappear pretty quickly, and I need to reapply it once or twice before it is going to have any staying power at all. But despite that, the colors are all so pretty and so muted and kind of ethereal looking that it still makes me kind of want to wear them, and I've gotten a lot of use out of the several different colors that I have. The other product from Westman Atelier that I've gotten quite a lot of use out of is this lit up highlight stick in the color Brulee. So this is a little bit similar to the hyaluronic highlighting balm from Beauty that I showed you before, except that one is in a palette and this is in stick form. I think that the other colors of this lit up highlight stick are pretty, but I think that especially this bronzing color is very nice. And if I want to just add kind of a summery look to my skin, that this has done a really nice job for me. The other product that I've tried out in more depth since the last video was the Skin Activator solution, and as it turned out, after I had worn it for a couple of times, that one really started to irritate my skin progressively, so each time I put it on it was more irritating. I'm not sure what it was about that particular product that was irritating. I think that it has an algae in it, and sometimes things that are like brown algae can be contaminated with cyanotoxin, so I wonder if that could be it, because I'm not seeing anything else on the ingredient list that I would think would be an issue. So I did end up taking that back to the store, unfortunately. I would have liked to have made it work. Other than that, though, everything that I've tried from Westman Atelier in terms of their makeup products has seemed to really be good for my skin. It hasn't been irritating at all, and it seems to be really nourishing for my skin in a lot of instances. Another recent release for them is that they now have refills for their lip palettes. So this is one that's the nude one, but I am kind of interested in their red one, so I may just buy the red refill and try it in this palette and see how it goes, because it's a different formula and I'd like to try out some of their red colors, and it would be $40 during this sale for that refill, so that's not too bad. Now, another product line that I have long been a fan of and that I have tried many, many products in is Rituel de Fille. So these are products with all natural ingredients. They're really quite simple ingredients. I have found them to be extremely gorgeous in terms of the colors. They're all natural colors. One of the products that I like the most are these eye soots, and they come in some new colors now, and they come in a package with a wider lid, so you can put your finger in here, or you can use this lovely new brush that has worked really well for me too. I also really like their luminizers. I think they come in really unusually beautiful and gorgeous shades with interesting shimmer shifts to them. They also have some beautiful blush colors And these are blushes that tend to stay on the face for quite a while, so you have to work a little bit to blend them in, but then they will last on your skin for quite a while. And I also really like these little color pigment balms. I feel like if you are a fan of Miracle Balm from Jones Road, but you would like a product that has a little bit more color to it, that this would be a really great product for you. And it doesn't have rose geranium oil in it, so I find it to not be irritating in the way that the Jones Road products are. But you do have to be really careful about it because you can get a lot of color really, really easily from this. But I think that they're really pretty and that they perform well in terms of providing a kind of a glowy look. And I also like their lipsticks, so I'll put a little bit of this on. Now all of these products do smell like lavender, so if that bothers you, then this is not a good line for you. But other than that, I think that they're very pretty and very easy to wear, and I have found that this is one of my favorite brands. Now another product line that I did a whole video on was from a company called Han. So these are fairly inexpensive products, and I think that for their price point they are really high quality. I really like their mascara, and I especially like the fact that they offer a brown mascara and that it performs really well and it hasn't irritated my eyes at all. So I think that I will buy that again in the future because I really kind of prefer brown mascara, and very few companies offer that. I also like this Skin Refining Serum. So this has a variety of different ingredients in it that are good for the skin, including hyaluronic acid and squalane and HAs and some different kinds of high quality oils. So I've been very fond of this, and I think I will continue to use that. I also do like their powder blush and their cream blush sticks. These are all natural colors, again, like Rituel Defee, and I think that for many people that these would be really good products to consider. And now are just a few more brands that are more like personal care type products. So the first one is Necessaire. This one is really recently come to Credo. So for this company, I really like their deodorant. This is very, very similar to the Kosas deodorant. They have a version that is unscented, and then there's one with eucalyptus. When I looked on the Credo site, the unscented one was out of stock, but I would consider the eucalyptus one as well. Also from Necessaire, I really like their serum, their body serum. So this is primarily a hyaluronic acid serum, and it has, I think, a few different kinds of hyaluronic acid. And I think that applying it either directly to my skin or mixing it with a moisturizer or a body oil, I think that this has provided a lot of benefit to my skin of the type that most body lotions do not give me. So my skin seems to be in better shape when I use that. I also like the Necessaire Conditioner and Shampoo. These have both done a really good job for me without any irritation. And I think that of shampoos and conditioners go, I really like this one. And I also like one that I'm going to talk about next, which is from a company called InnerSense. So far I've just tried these small bottles, and they performed really, really well to me. I think that these are especially gentle, and that my hair seems to be treated very kindly by them. So for people who have hair like mine that's aging and fragile, this could be a particularly good brand for you, I think. And I've also tried out a few hair products, Sweet Spirit Leave-In Conditioner and I Create Waves, and I kind of like all of these products from this InnerSense company. So I think I'm probably going to buy a few more things during the sale and see if I can find anything else that I really like from them. This is the Ursa Major Stellar Shave Cream. I spent quite a bit of time trying to find a good shaving lotion. This one is kind of on the expensive side, but I have really enjoyed using it so far. So I wouldn't mind buying it again. I probably will. I haven't tried the Dr. Bronner's shaving soap yet, so I probably should be doing that as well just to compare it. But I think I can recommend this one, and I'd like to try a few more things from this brand. And then in my last skincare video, which was very recent, I talked a lot about Alpine Beauty and about a brand called Herbivore. Both of those are sold at Credo, and I think that pretty much all of their products that I have tried so far, and there's been a whole bunch, has been very good for me. So I would recommend thinking about those brands. The particular products that I feel pretty confident that I will buy again in the future are the Alpine Beauty Plant Genius Line Filling Eye Balm. This is one of the few eye creams that I have found that has both caffeine and bakuchiol, caffeine for bags and bakuchiol for wrinkles. And I think that I finished off an entire jar of this and I'm about to start a new one. And this has been I think my favorite eye cream. I also am feeling good about their Well Nettle and Niacinamide Firming Serum. So I finished off a bottle of that and I'm starting on this one, and I might buy that one again. And then they have a bakuchiol serum that I feel has been very good for me. This has both hydrating type elements as well as the bakuchiol. And I think that I may buy a large container of this. This is just more like a sample size. In terms of things at Credo that I would like to try during this sale myself, Tata Harper has a new line of that she's calling Super Kind, which is supposed to be specifically for sensitive skin. So I'd like to try some of those products, but they are very, very expensive. There is a sample set on her website that I think you can pick up for like $50, so I'll probably start with that just to see if I like it. I have to really, really have a lot of optimism about a product to pay the Tata Harper prices. But some people really, really do like those products, so I would like to give them a try and report back. I'm also interested in a company called Gen C, and I'm interested in a company that I think is called Iris and Romeo. So hopefully you will be seeing a little bit about that in future videos from me. If there are products that you have tried from Credo that you have either really, really liked or not liked so much, then please let us know about that. Also, if there's other products that you would like for me to try that I haven't tried yet, then please let me know what those are and I'll see if I can possibly pick those up. So now I will swatch the lipsticks from both RMS and from Kosas. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end of the video. And Coco and I love you very much. Goodbye.